By George, I think I've got it.
Hybrothetical Thinking.
I saw that Bigfoot walking across the screen and I thought to myself, wow, they are real.
I ask us all, is that really reasonable?
Hybrothetical Thinking.
My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
I'll show you a little of the evidence.
Hybrothetical Thinking.
Researchers at Stanford University School of Medicine have pioneered a cancer vaccine that eliminated all traces of cancer in mice.
You could find evidence of that, my friends. You could change the world.
Hybrothetical Thinking, a podcast for the hypothetical thinker.
Hello, travelers, and welcome to Hybrothetical Thinking, a semi-informative podcast that explores the journey from probability to Johnny's tsunami.
Nice.
My name is Nick Floyd, and I'm joined by my dashing, wonderful mouse-hunting co-hosts.
Hey, y'all, I'm Taylor.
I'm Johnny Clark.
And the way this works is either Taylor or myself will do the research for our weekly episodes, and Johnny, sweet Johnny McNugget, the cake eater, goes into every episode completely blind, very similar to Splinter, that small rat from the Ninja Turtles movies.
Oh,
He was a fucking huge rat.
yeah,
he was a big...
A person-sized rat.
very big rat.
He was.
I'm a person-sized person. That kind of relates. I'm a person-sized person.
Human-sized.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Also, I can be pretty small.
Human-sized person.
Human-sized person.
Some would say he's human-sized.
That was,
Johnny, not the rat.
So that intro, you sounded almost like, come here, come one, oh, come on. It sounded really like showy.
Thanks.
Let's
just
get
like-
your news here.
Get your news here.
We're
We know about
17
it.
episodes in. I wanted to mix it up. I wanted to start...
17.
Yeah, I wanted to start with a hello instead of a greetings. I wanted
Did
to
you
throw
say
people off.
Hello.
I did. I said,
didn't
hello.
even recognize that.
I did.
Hello.
Hello. Anyway,
I like it.
how you boys doing?
Man, I'm doing real good, dude. I've had a pretty decent week. Just been chugging along, enjoying the beautiful Atlanta weather. How about you guys?
I'm having a great time. Super stoked. Once again, I always say it. Lots of cool stuff coming up, and I am so stoked about it.
You could talk about it now.
Guys, we're
technically.
going to Orlando. I'm so excited.
He's been hard about it for like 3 months.
It's been rough. I haven't been able to change my pants. It's been crazy. I'm so stoked to be in Orlando, to like be in front of people, to be doing this live, to like be talking to people. We have merch coming out. We have animations coming out, cartoons. We have all this stuff coming out, and it makes me so happy.
Wait, Johnny, you weren't supposed to say the cartoons thing.
I wasn't? We're not doing cartoons.
I'm just kidding. You can say that.
We're doing cartoons.
Cartoons.
Oh, we're doing 2 sets at least of cartoons.
We're gonna be animated, guys.
Guys, we're fucking animated.
Let's be cartoons.
And for those of you out there who have not seen what we look like, I guess you either are under a rock or don't use Facebook, you'll see what we look like in cartoon form very soon.
Well, our event page has us slightly animated,
Just slightly.
a version of ourselves animated.
Our
By yours truly.
puppeteered faces.
Yeah. I did a shitty job of our mouths, if you can.
We're puppets.
Well, yeah, it made us look like nutcrackers.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, we could sell those.
No,
Vibro nutcrackers.
It'd be perfect during the holidays. A perfect holiday gift. Stocking stuffer.
It would be perfect during the holidays.
The holidays.
As seen on TV.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
We should be every single promo like, Billy Mays here, Hybros here, Flex Tape here,
I
Sham
saw
Wow.
this boat in half.
I saw this boat in half. We should do that. Like every single, oh man.
Oh. Well, boys, do I got some news for you this week?
I don't
First,
What do you
what do you
got
mean you
for
don't
us?
know?
I don't know if you got news, Nick. Do you got
Fucking Taylor goes, what do you got for us? And Johnny goes, I don't know.
news?
I wasn't asking you a question.
You said, do I got news this week,
I said,
Nick?
boy, do I got news for you
I don't think you
this
said
week.
boys. I think you said, do I? We can check that. I'm pretty sure. Do I got news for you? That's a question. That's a question.
You want to bet? Let's put money on it.
All right.
When we play this back.
Or we play this back. I'm going to put one Taco
okay.
Bell date on
One
it.
Taco Bell date
Yeah, you can choose what you want.
on whether I said,
Yeah.
boys, do I have news for you?
I think you don't say boys. I think you said do.
Okay.
What if he says
it's
a variation of boy? Who wins then?
No, anything.
You do, Taylor.
Yeah. Come on.
Come on.
We're
Come on.
going to a Taco Bell Pizza Hut combo. I'm getting a PH4.
Whoa. All
Leave
right.
it to PH4.
All right,
Go
Nick,
with that
you're on.
pepperoni pizza combo.
I just have to say, first and foremost, the most important piece of news, guys, we're still kicking. We're alive. We've made it.
Yeah.
We released the
That's
Danny
crazy.
Kessler episode last week.
Did you? You said
And we lived.
pizza news?
Pizza news.
Is that what you said?
Piece of news. Sorry,
Shit,
Taylor.
I was like, pizza.
we blue balled Taylor.
All right, proceed. My bad.
Taylor, what I was saying is we're alive. We've lived past episode 16, the Danny Castellero episode. It lives. It's out there, and none of us have been taken out. We're here to tell another day on this podcast.
It's crazy. No,
We will live another day. We will live.
It's crazy. After hearing your guys' conclusions and like the evidence you guys brought forth last week on X16, it was fascinating to find out how serious it actually was, like how in-depth it was into a conspiracy. Like it wasn't like a hypothetical, it was a literal death. Something happened. It blew my mind. So I understood the confusion and the skepticism to actually talk about it because it was dangerous to say the least.
Oh,
It was.
treading bloody waters, possibly.
It was, and we made it. We survived.
We're here.
Everything's good. But guys, if you haven't listened to the episode yet, check it out. But yeah, diving into news head first, we're going to start off with one of our favorite celebrity couples that makes us feel like we're on top of the world. We're going to talk about Pete Davidson and Ariana
I
Grande.
knew you were going to do this. Are they still together?
So in our first piece of news,
Taylor. No.
in our first piece of news today, we're going to talk about something that I found very interesting.
Okay.
So not only was Pete blessed with the BDE, but Pete has also been blessed with the BBH, the bleach blonde hair.
Oh, you bleached his hair?
He cut all of his hair off and he bleached blonde it,
Tips.
and he looks very similar to someone else who dated Ariana Grande, I think. Justin Bieber. Wait, fuck, did they date?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. Selena Gomez is
Oh,
dated. Oh my God, it keeps happening. They're the same person. They're the same freaking person. No, I don't think he and Ariana Grande did, but he definitely dated Selena Gomez, even though they're the same person.
Oh, man. Well, I've just debunked my own news.
Was it the news?
Yeah, I was trying to tie together Justin Bieber
So
and
to
Pete
answer
Davidson.
the question, guys,
I don't
no,
know. It's
Nick-
probably still possible that Ariana Grande dated him as well. I would venture to say.
No, I'd say
These kids, these kids just hanging out. These kids dating each other. This person dating that, dating all over each other.
I would say no. Also, I think this just says that Nick, everybody, did not have news this week. Boys or not boys. So regardless of who's getting talked about for free, you didn't have shit for shit.
No, that's I opened with
that was fake news. That was fake
Your
news.
news was fake.
Yeah, it's fake news.
So here's so fake, so news. So fake news.
But what if? Okay, so
Okay,
the news is fine. What if Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande
Okay,
are trying to Mandela effect the world
they are.
and trying to make people believe that they're Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber? Just gonna let that sit. Just gonna let that sit.
Let it fester. Let it marinate.
That is so probable. I can see it so clearly now.
It all makes sense, Nick. Wow, what a fascinating.
I can see so clearly.
I can.
That makes a lot of sense. I don't know enough about the career trajectory of either Selena Gomez or Miss Ariana Grande to make a judgment on that, but two people with bleach blonde hair, how can you argue? How can you argue with that?
All right. Anyway, so fuck that news. I'm going on to the next piece.
Well, you have more news?
Yeah, I got more news. What do you think? I'm just
I
gonna
think
hit
it's
you with
highly
some Pete
probable. I think it's
Davidson
highly
news and let
probable,
it sit.
I thought that was it. I literally okay.
All right. So the real piece of news for the day that doesn't have to do. I mean, maybe you know what? Maybe it has to do with Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson. I don't know.
Let's not make it do that.
Five.
Okay. All right, Johnny.
5 degrees of Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Ruin the fun, Johnny.
I'm sorry.
All right. Here we go.
Ready.
Discovered
Oh,
recently,
what?
laying unopened for more than 2,000 years,
Whoa.
is the largest ancient sarcophagus
What?
ever discovered.
Sarcophagus?
What?
Yeah, that's a tomb, bro.
How old?
Tomb, bro. 2,000, you
more-
say?
More than 2,000 years. It's a black sarcophagus that was discovered beneath a modern Alexandria street, causing speculation in Egypt and beyond, making people think that what might be inside, that's right, you guessed it, the body of Alexander the motherfucking Great.
Whoa.
Because it was under a street called Alexandria?
Correlations, definitely.
Listen, science Science-
Need not connect the dots.
science isn't that hard, okay? It's all
Yeah, exactly.
speculation. But speculation has been intensified of being Alexander the Great inside the sarcophagus because inside the burial, they found an alabaster bust of a man's head that was created. Yeah, probably one of the greatest words of all time.
Yeah.
Was created to represent the tomb's occupant. And its face is all fucked up, but somehow,
Of course, the face is all fucked
the
up.
speculation is that that man's face is of Alexander the Great. But they haven't opened the coffin yet.
Okay. Well, how do they know that? So they did the DNA, like they like scanned it like in a CAT scan and found out what his face looked like?
I mean, it's all speculation, right, Johnny?
Because like, how do they know his face is fucked up? They came up with the sarcophagus.
I mean, no, his face is definitely screwed up. The alabaster
Saying
bust
this
is screwed
bust
up.
was found nearby.
Oh, okay.
The bust was found in the burial.
In
So
the
there was
burial. Okay,
tomb,
on the burial. Okay, got ya.
and then
Okay.
next to it was the alabaster head.
Who
But
wants to have a bust of themselves next to them when they die?
I mean,
Is that weird?
I don't know. I think it's pretty dope the way like Egyptian pharaohs seem to be buried.
Yeah, no. Well, on their tomb,
All
they'd
kinds of
have
dope
like
shit.
they'd have crazy cats or depictions of like awesome shit on their tomb, but like just a bust of me just hanging next to me. I don't know if I really
Well,
want that.
yeah, I mean, it's a total dedication. It's like they need to know who you are, right?
I guess.
yeah, it happened to Cleopatra. I mean, everyone got
I guess
buried.
it's
These rooms
hard to,
are
People who
like,
had money.
Yeah, and these rooms are like decked out, like
yeah.
their dopest, like everything cool, their coolest shit they've ever had would just all be in that room, right?
So essentially, to identify you, they don't write your name on the tomb. They're like, no, we're gonna fucking do you a bust. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
we're
too
gonna
hard.
like put a bust of your head in there because it's art. Like it's the
dude,
highest praise.
art.
Yeah,
Um,
weird that it wouldn't be just written on the outside. Alexander the Great One.
Seems easier that way, but
A lot
fuck
easier,
money, I
yeah.
guess.
A little label. Shit,
So what
we
makes-
should have labeled it.
What makes this so crazy is that there have been at least 140 attempts to locate Alexander's final tomb, and none of the claims, none of them have claimed to have found Alexander the Great. So they're saying that inside this black sarcophagus, when they open up, if it's Alexander the Great, it will be the most significant historical find since Tutankhamun, since they found
Really?
good old Toots. Yeah.
Good Tootie. I went to a Toot museum back in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
They got
What?
Oh, okay, I was about to say, there's no fucking
No,
way
not
they have a
Grand Haven.
Tutankhamun museum in Grand Haven, Michigan.
Grand Rapids, they do, and it's hell awesome. They got like a whole 3D display, like a couple like actual like bone stuff.
Wow.
There's some like weird like tissues. And,
Johnny's so scientist. They got bone stuff.
yeah, dude, they got bone marrow. They got like the things that humans have in their body.
So,
I'll go to
That's
the
cool. It's
museum.
the old Toots.
so here's to hoping, guys. We're gonna follow the news and see what happens, but they haven't
Wait.
opened this thing up yet. There's
Okay.
a lot of people on the internet who are actually saying, "Do not open it. Don't open it because
What?
whatever is inside,
Like the mummy, it's gonna come out and like kill
like
everyone.
the Mummy, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, this could be a
Tiny
big deal."
robotic beetles.
We're gonna need Tom Cruise or the guy from.
Don't when you talk about the Mummy, you mention one name. You know what that
Right,
name
dude?
is?
I'm forgetting his name. That's why I didn't say it.
Jeez.
You forgetting his name?
Oh my gosh, give me a second.
Ah,
I'll give you 5 seconds.
He was also in Blast in the
George
Past.
of the Jungle.
Jungle and
There-
Blast in the Past. Also Blast in the Past.
Encino Man.
I'm just
Airheads.
horrible at names. I'm horrible at names.
Come
You give
on.
me 3 names. Give me 3
That's
names right now.
That's just worse.
Give me-
That's worse than Pip farting on a snare drum.
Give me 3 names. I'll tell you which one it is.
All right, Brendan Gleeson.
Oh, Brendan Fraser. That's what it is. It's that.
You
Brendan
mother-
Fraser. I just
All right.
needed to know what one part of the puzzle. I'm horrible with names. I called
One part of the
people
puzzle.
the wrong names for years. Dude.
You know who's not
Happens.
the world's greatest
It happens.
detective?
Hey, I am the world's greatest
You're,
detective.
no, you're wrong.
I'm the world's
You're not
greatest
just
detective.
wrong.
Bro.
You're stupid. All right, are we
world's
ready?
greatest
Let's Tay. That's all I got.
That's what you got. I love it. I love it. I want to fucking see what they got in there. I think they should open it immediately. See what we got in there, man. I want to see it.
What's the holdup?
What
Yeah.
if it kills us?
It's fine. Dude, they're fucking blowing particles into each other and making
Yeah,
black
crazy
holes.
black
The way
holes,
you
man.
said that was not the way I
Black
remembered it.
holes.
They're blowing particles into each other.
So, yeah, what if the other end of these black holes is inside of that sarcophagus, and the only thing that can contain that shit is this black granite? And if we open this black granite sarcophagi, we're opening this white hole that's on the other side of that black hole they're creating in CERN. I don't know. Possibility.
I mean, if we did, Taylor, we'd find the answer to Sinbad's Shazam.
Dude, if there's a
Okay.
if there's a pair of like parachute pants in the sarcophagus, I would say that's a sign
Okay,
Could
guys.
you
of CERN
imagine if
fucking
they-
with shit.
If they open up the sarcophagus and inside is just a copy, a VHS copy of Shazam starring Sinbad.
Okay, guys. I didn't want to bring this up, but I need to bring it up now because talking about it. I was filling my car up with gas recently, and there was a kid on a scooter that had the word Shazam Kazam on the neck.
Shut up.
I
What,
swear
dude?
to God.
Tattooed
It
on
was-
his neck?
No, on the bike. No, it was a kid. It was like a kid.
Yeah, I thought
And
it was funny though.
It blew me. It was gray, and I was like, "Nah, that's
Shazam
not
Kazam,
real."
what?
So I didn't bring it up, but I fucking saw
So,
it.
so you're telling me you weren't going to walk up to that small child and say, "Excuse me, small child, on the shaft of your bike, does it say Shazam?"
I could read it. I could read it clearly, and I didn't want to bring it up with you guys because
Dude.
I was like, "I'm fucking crazy." We're talking about it, so I brought it up.
I guarantee you could have traded your car for it straight up.
My BMW for a bike?
Yeah.
I probably
Gas
could have. He was
way
You're
10
like, "Hey,
years
kid,
old.
Hey, kid, I'll trade you this BMW for that Shazam
Straight up.
Kazam you got."
I need it. I can really use it. No, I'm not doing the stuff that's stupid monetarily. Thank you very much.
I don't know. Shazam and Kazam, that's proof, dude. You could be famous on the internet.
Yeah, famous or have a car pass.
Internet fame, car to drive to get me from place to place.
Automotive.
I don't know, man.
But I'm
Uber's
not gonna
out
lie.
there. You could walk and stuff.
This fucking bike that break in
You
2
could
years.
sell the bike for $500 million because it's going to be the rarest shit ever.
At least. At least.
What if it was just a sticker? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I saw it and that's what it was.
If it was a sticker, it's just crazy that those two stickers existed side by side momentarily
Dude,
in your
read
life.
them.
You
I
saw
looked
them.
at them. I looked at them like in Men in Black when J M Age. What's the my fucking god?
J and K, right?
K. Yeah, when K saw the aliens and he's like, oh, like and Men in Black 2 and he like got his brain. all
That was
messed
Johnny
up.
looking at the bike.
I was like, oh, like there is
Oh.
something greater than me. There
Johnny
is-
goes, "Hi, kid. My name's Jonathan Clark. I'm from Hybrothetical Thinking. Can I take a look at that bike, please?"
Yeah. Hey, would you look at this flashing thing, please, for a second?
It wouldn't really go like that. It would go more like, "Hey, kid, get the fuck off your bike. My name's Johnny Clark.
Give me that bike.
My brother's a fucking pilot.
My brother's a fucking pilot."
It's okay. I'm from Grand Haven.
I come in peace.
Come-
And I'm a bike guy.
I'm a
Someone
residential
say.
bike guy.
Oh, anyway,
My ears
so
just pop from yelling so loud.
we'll see what happens with the sarcophagi when they open it up. If they open it up, odds are they're going to do it secretly, send that shit to Area 51, and we'll never see the end of it. But
Yeah, I bet you won't know that shit.
Is a person in a sarcophagus a sarcophagi?
no, I just
That's
no,
really
Johnny.
cool. That's really cool.
Ah,
No.
And so if we're
I think
going
that would be
to see it,
multiple sarcophagi.
are we sarcophagoing to it?
Are we? Yes, we're sarcophagoing to Alexandria.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. That's sarcophag great. Okay, Taylor, let's do this thing.
I fucking hate you guys.
Let's go.
Oh, hey, guys. It's just one of your high bros here. I just wanted to pass along a 10% savings at futuremonsters.com. If you're into the Wolfman, if you're into Frankenstein, King Kong, Dracula, you can go to futuremonsters.com and you save yourself 10% on any of the high-quality threads. They got amazing designs on a quality fabric print. I'll tell you right now, I got one last week. It feels really good on my body. If you want to save 10%, put some stuff in your shopping cart, enter into the coupon code. You want to enter in capital HYBRO. That's capital HYBRO. That's Hybro. Capital HYBRO. Get yourself 10% off. Okay.
Start off
All right.
pretty juicy.
Here we go, guys. It's
I broke Nick.
dismantled at the seams. All right. Its first episode aired on September 27th, 1996, featuring the inexperienced witch, her wild and crazy aunts, and their sarcastic talking scheme brewing cat. The show went on for 163 episodes before its last airing on April 24th, 2003.
Yeah.
During its lifespan, the show reached monumental status.
Wait, what? What's so funny?
Johnny goes, yeah.
I think it's Lena Teenage Witch. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I got it. I finally got it. One time I figured out what you're talking about. All right, continue. Keep going.
I'm fucking crying.
I'm sorry, guys.
Okay. All right, I'll shut up.
During its lifespan, the show reached monumental status, taking in some pretty impressive awards, including the 1998 Kids' Choice Award for Favorite TV Actress, the 1997, 1998, and 2003 Young Artist Award for Best Performance in a Feature Film, and of course, the 1998, 1999, and 2000 Kids' Choice Award for Favorite Animal Star. And you guessed it, Johnny. I'm talking about Melissa Joan Hart, Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah, dude.
It was funny. That was a funny show.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
The reason I bring this up is because when I was talking about, something got me thinking about witches. And it got me thinking about this ridiculous comment one of my friends made recently to me about witches. This dude says he thinks all witches are women and all wizards are men.
Sounds like a dick.
And that witches can't be men and vice versa.
Wow, sounds like an asshole. You know who that asshole is? Me.
Wait, no.
Johnny said this, guys.
Johnny Clark said this.
I'm the person who says that. Thank you, Taylor. Is this episode about me being a dick?
Yes. I just think that's hilarious. It's like, yeah, all cats are girls and all dogs are boys.
No, they're not species. I think
every animal in Jurassic Park are female.
The word you classify, like in dogs, like in a dog show. I don't believe in this, but like your prize bitch is a female.
Johnny, let's not use
brother.
Jonathan.
That's what it's. Don't give me that tone. That's what it is.
Do not
That's
use those words on this podcast.
We use worse words than that, Nick. So that was specifically for a female dog, or like a bull, whatever. That's a specific bovine. That's a male cow. And so I think in my growing up, a witch was a woman and a wizard was a man. That's how I viewed it. And now I talk to you guys, and you think there are no female wizards, but there are male witches.
Let's let Taylor get.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that there aren't female wizards. I just don't know of any. I can't name any.
Maleficent.
But there are. Is this? Maybe she's a sorcerer.
I think there are
sorcerer.
I think a sorcerer is multi-gender, whatever.
So a sorcerer is like a woman wizard then.
Yeah, I think a sorcerer is just are magically inclined, like a magician, magical. Those are like things. But a wizard in Harry Potter.
Okay,
that was a really bad.
Listen, I'm gonna debunk this right fucking now. You open your ear holes and you listen. Johnny bases all the shit off of Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
What about Lord of the Rings?
Wait,
wizards are men.
Wait a second.
Right?
Wait a second.
Wait,
what is Hermione? Isn't she a wizard? Is this a wizard school?
She's a witch. Witch or wizards. That's what it is.
It's the school of wizardry.
Yeah,
right.
It's a school of wizardry, but there's witch or wizards. That's the difference. Men or women. I'm not okay. I'm not. Don't want to sound like I'm not up in the times.
That was a fair argument, Johnny.
I believe everyone's free right. I don't want to sound like I'm like against.
I'm just saying Hogwarts is wrong. I'm saying Hogwarts should let them be who they want to be, and I think that's the problem with society.
Okay, I agree. Let's
move the fuck on.
Okay,
Taylor.
I
just remember Tim Curry being a witch once. So what brings us all this witch talk about and Johnny's belief in witches and wizardry was an email that we got from a Hybro listener that's going to garner in our topic for today. Who was this person, Nick?
That's going to be shouts out to Sabrina Tuttle.
Oh shit, Sabrina Tuttle, bringing us some badass topics for today. What's that? What's our email, Nick? Where can these guys give us a topic?
Listen, if you want to give us a topic like Sabrina did, you can email hybrothoughts@gmail.com.
Nice plug.
Just shut up, Johnny.
It's so cool. The last 3 episodes have featured somebody that has actually talked to us or communicated, and we haven't not wanted or not done that in the past. Just it's so cool that we're what? Don't get so upset at me, Nick. I'm having a great time right now.
So Sabrina suggested that we talk about the myth, nay, the legend of Oak Island. Oh. So we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Now, Johnny, have you ever heard about this?
Is it the place where the witch doctors would take people and bless them on the way, and they'd go there to die, essentially?
Well, are you talking about where they put the bee mask on your head?
Yeah, but they also had that huge, the witch doctors with the huge beak, and they'd
Did you just say? Never mind.
Witch doctors.
All right, sorry. I thought you said something else.
And they had all those scents in their nose beaks, and they would you remember that? It was disease.
Yeah, it was called the Dark Ages.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. The masks that they wore everywhere?
No. Just this one boat ride from inland to this island. I watched this whole documentary on it. Is this not what I'm talking about?
Was it called
No.
The Wicker Man?
I don't know.
That's what I was getting at.
Was Nicolas Cage in it?
I just knew
No.
there was a bee mask.
No, not the bees. Not that.
Okay, I'm just clarifying.
No, no.
Well, here, the story of Oak Island, it begins in 1795 when the teenage Daniel McGinnis paddled onto shore. As the young Hybro explored the 140-acre island, he came upon a clearing, and in that clearing was a glorious oak tree. Hanging from one of the branches of this oak tree was some ship tackle,
Okay.
some rope and some pulley. Under this tackle was a 13-foot across indentation in the ground that was clearly, it was a big circular pattern. It was clearly like, oh man, a hole had been dug here once and been filled in. Obviously, a long time. Plants had grown over it and stuff, but it was obvious that something was there. Of course, he's thinking this must be pirate's treasure. This is in 1795. We're talking the end of the pirate era. Captain Kidd is out there, and there's, definite legends that, there's pirate treasure everywhere. Every island's got pirate treasure, right?
Yeah.
So the next day, young Danny McGee returns with his two favorite allies, fully loaded. They've got snacks and supplies. It's time to leave this town. It's time to steal away. Let's go get lost anywhere in the USA.
That's an awesome reference.
No. So he returns the next day with his two friends, Anthony Vaughn and John Smith, and they start to fucking dig. They get
the John Smith?
The John Smith, like the one that is like named John and then
Pocahontas.
also Smith.
Do you guys know that if my mom, if I got my mom's maiden name, I would be named John Smith? That'd be my name.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, because my mom's maiden name was Smith, and it would be Jonathan. It would be John, because it would have been her parents'
Weird.
choice. I was almost the most common name in America. Oh, isn't that original?
It's weird. If my last name was Smith and my middle name wasn't Taylor,
You'd also be John
I'd
Smith.
be John Smith.
Guys, I have something to tell you.
Is your name John?
My parents wanted to name me John Smith.
Oh my God.
We're a couple Johns.
I changed my name from John Smith at a young age.
Yeah, I went from John Smith to Nick Floyd.
Very similar. Very similar. It's a couple.
But next week I'm
typos.
changing it back, and we're changing the name to Hybrothetical. Never mind. Taylor, continue.
All right, so this island, Oak Island's in Nova Scotia. It's like on the East Coast, it's a really tiny island, 140 acres. Very, very small. Very, very small.
It's so small.
So these three guys, they return the next day. McGinnis, go gets his buddies, and they return the next day, and they start to fucking dig. And they get 2 feet down, and they hit it. Oh, yeah, they hit it.
Hit what? Hit what?
They hit a layer flagstone.
Ooh.
Yeah. So they're like, holy
Like
shit,
it?
it's like nice flagstone as if it was laid out there purposely. Very nice. And so they bust through that shit, and they start digging some more. They go 8 more feet. They get down to the 10-foot mark, and they hit a layer of timbers. Big ol' oak timbers. A whole layer of them. So they're like, fuck yes. All they got to do is get through this fucking wood. Boom. They got whatever treasure is under there. Probably a dick ton of treasure. A shit ton of treasure, right?
That's a long way down, though. I mean, like back
10
then, I
feet.
feel like that's a lot of effort, a lot of manual labor to
Shit,
get
yeah.
a lot of weight down in that. All right, you keep going.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it, dude. All these oak timbers, it's not just like a stack of wood that's down there.
Yeah.
It's like a floor, or a ceiling.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
thick-ass oak timbers. So like, man, it's definitely purposely put here. But yeah, dude, like
Wow,
10 feet
nature
down.
works in such weird ways. Wow.
Yeah,
Look how
exactly.
the way
Lays
that-
these nice timbers down.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, there's this tackle hanging just above this hole, so it's still logical that like fucking, okay, something's going on here. They could have been building
Sure.
something. It should
Sure.
go deep. Why is there a pulley system? So they smash through those timbers and they keep digging, and there's just more dirt, really fine dirt under these timbers.
Mhm.
So they go another 10 feet, and they come to another layer of these timbers. So now they are 20 feet down.
And they're not giving up.
Nah, I mean, these timbers, it's like another layer of timbers, like neatly stacked in there.
That sounds weird.
Sounds really fucking weird, doesn't it?
Why? That's
Who would
doesn't-
go through all that?
Yeah. What's the point?
What are they trying to
Wait, was the
hide?
whole island? Okay, no, I'm sorry. You keep going.
Oh, I mean, go ahead. What are you thinking?
I'm saying okay, so like I don't know a whole lot about like the Earth's crust, but every 20 feet is there more timbers? Is like
Right?
every
Is
single
that
like
part of the
everywhere-
Earth setup?
Yeah, is that like everywhere in the world? Is that how it works? Does this make sense? Like they just start digging and like boom, there's more. Oh wait, there's more like a cake. Like why is there so many layers of these goddamn wood?
Yeah.
When I grew up on a beach, and when I used to dig holes,
Don't
the
tell me you
sand.
found timber.
You never got to China.
I know, I never got there. I just crawl back out. No, I mean, occasionally you'd hit water,
Yeah, you
Right?
were like, yeah.
but that's it.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is a small island, so I mean, it's
Still.
right near the coast too. It's not like out in the middle of the ocean or something. It's right on the coast.
Yeah.
The area's got like it's riddled with islands and stuff. But just to see that there are these layers of timbers that this is obviously man-made, and these people deduce that like this is obviously man-made.
Right.
You can't quit digging. Why the hell will we quit digging without finding something? There's a purpose to this. At least find the purpose. If they don't find some massive amounts of treasure, So over the course of a few years, they keep digging, and they end up getting 30 feet down. This whole process takes them a little while. They're just,
30
just digging and
feet?
stuff. Yeah, 30 feet. And then
Well,
they
and
hit.
also, let's just remember how much more dense and compact that sand is going to be down there. It's going to be harder, heavier, and then transporting it back up to the surface. That is a lot of energy. 30
Lot of
feet, I
energy,
would have
man,
given
yeah.
up by then.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, how compact it would be, though, if there is these layers of timbers in between it. I don't know. Maybe it'd be really soft dirt. But it took
I
them
feel
a
like
long
it'd be
time to
soft.
dig it, so yeah, that's kind of implying that it was tough.
Yeah, what else were they going to do in 17 whenever?
Right,
Nothing.
yeah, I mean, this was just
Yeah.
like some tiny ass little shovels and
We're gonna
th-
drink
probably
or
that
dig.
same pulley that was still hanging up.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was like television to them. They were just like, we're going to
Hey.
get what's down there, and it's going to be fucking sweet.
Yeah, and these
Johnny,
just like little
don't
teenage
fall.
dudes, late
Yeah.
teenage hat bros, just trying to explore. That's another one of these cool things, man. Think about just being able to, I'm just going to take my little paddle boat and go randomly explore some islands that like have
Yeah,
potentially
Have never
never
been
been
explored.
discovered. That's crazy.
pretty
Right.
cool. I mean, that sounds like a dope time.
Dope, dude. Super dope. Like,
Super dope, bud.
super dope. So they get down to 30 feet and they hit another fucking layer of timbers. And they're like, God, this
surprise.
sucks. And they're tired of it. And, but they're like, dude, there's got to be something crazy down there. It's got to be hella pirate treasure. Because pirate treasure had been found before and it was like not that elaborate to get to, But it's still a possibility that it's some crazy amount, So
Right.
after 30 feet down, they decided they needed some help. One of the dudes' family decided to invest, and they started like the first professional dig.
That's so weird. It's like, all right, hear me out. I know this sounds like a hole in the water. I know it sounds like it's not going to go anywhere. I've been digging for so many years.
Yeah.
I've not found shit. I keep finding more sand and more dirt. But here, give me some money.
Right, yeah. Apparently at this point, they hadn't found anything in the hole yet,
Yeah. Like,
other than the
who's gonna-
timbers.
Who's going to invest in that
I
stuff?
mean, isn't that how we all went to college and stuff? Like, hey, mom, hey, dad, I'm going to film school, a place that's not really going to give me anything, and I'm probably not going to have a career in the future, but can you help me out? And they're like, okay.
But there have been causes for people like us who've done decent, and therefore, or people who've done great.
Yeah.
But they're digging a hole.
Well, I
then
mean,
find
back then, I'm
zero
sure
thing-
sure
Yeah.
there was like,
Yeah.
by pigeon or however the fuck they spread news back then.
Yeah.
Like, there was probably news of Jean-Claude Van Dork who dug up a thing
Nice.
and made tons of money.
Nice.
He's French, maybe Croatian, not sure. He found a thing, filthy rich. And the parents are probably like, all right, listen, we need money
Okay.
too.
Definitely.
We believe in you. You guys definitely
Yeah.
are onto something. All right, we're gonna give you some money.
You got a point. I agree.
Freaking
I mean,
definitely, yeah. I mean, that's how it is, especially in America where
right,
it was,
you're right.
this is still like pre-gold rush and all that shit, apparently, way before, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's like undiscovered frontier, man. Anything could be out there. Anything.
It's like millennials
There-
and Bitcoin.
There were riches out in the world, There's precious metals, precious gems. There's was shit out there, dude. So they decided to invest, man. They started first professional dig, and the other two guys end up buying property on the island, like big old pieces of property on the island. They all stay involved with the dig for many years, for like up to 50 years, I think. And
Whoa.
yeah, what's crazy is that the whole time they're there, they report like fucking nothing. But there's a show about this on History Channel called The Curse of Oak Island. And they interview some of the current family from these guys, and they claim that they all have like tiny little pieces of gold that they say were found, but they don't really release. Like, it's possible that these families found shit and never really said anything and just had their own little wealth,
Yeah.
and just never said anything, but it's fucking weird. I don't know. So the company that they formed was called the Onslow Company, and they formed it in 1905 and started digging for years, kept digging every 10 feet. So they dug down to 90 feet, right?
Oh my gosh.
And then every 10 feet was another layer of these timbers.
Every 10 feet.
Every 10 feet.
Can you for a second, Taylor? Can you describe what exactly is timbers?
Timber would be like picture a log cabin built out of very big logs. I would imagine that is what an oak timber is.
Like it's a whole floor of just big sections
Yep.
of tree.
Yeah.
And they'd have to like hack through it?
Yeah, hack through that shit.
Sounds like a really old medieval safe technique almost.
Yeah, but an unseen yeah. How do you just have to break through all these fucking things? Or like one of the cool theories is that there's an unknown passage that some way travels through all these things, and these would be supports, but there'd be some
Like,
unknown patches nearby that gets
Like
you where you need
Wakanda,
to go.
you can like fly underneath or like swim underneath this island, and then it's just like boom, there's the treasure.
Yeah, right? Well, it's actually later found out there are tons of caverns all over this island anyways. So it's
Hey.
possible that any of the stuff that was built underground was possibly utilizing caverns that were already there
So
or whatnot.
how does I don't want to be jumping ahead too far, but how does this relate to witches and wizards?
the person who suggested this episode, Sabrina Tuttle,
The teenage
she
witch.
was possibly not a teenage witch, but Sabrina indeed she was.
What? I'm really confused right now.
Sweet. that was,
Wait,
that
what's
was
going
pretty
on?
much the purpose, I guess.
What's going on? I'm confused.
Listeners,
what's happened?
Johnny totally got misdirected from the misdirection intro, and he has still not circled around to get back on track.
What? I don't know what's happening right now. So-
Ay, ay,
all
ay.
right. So,
All
I
right,
guess-
we'll let you
okay.
listen back to it after the cast and see if you can catch it, because it's
All right.
a doozy.
All right.
Johnny, we're going to do some math.
Okay.
What's 1 + 1?
2.
What's Sabrina plus the teenage witch?
A great show.
Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that
Who was the person who suggested we do this episode?
Sabrina?
Uh-huh.
Was she the real person? Was she?
Wait,
Fuck. Taylor, just
wait,
move on.
is she made of?
Oh, yeah,
is she
wait.
made of wood?
Oh wait.
No.
Oh,
She's
you're
a
saying
witch. She's a
you're saying
witch.
she correlates to the first topic just by name default, and then therefore
Name
we're in the different
alone.
topic.
Name alone made this connection, bro. That's how elaborate.
So that's
how
the
elaborate it
the witch
was.
stuff. Is that,
It was a misdirection.
There's no
Fuck.
more witches involved here.
I kept thinking you were gonna say that witches put that stuff down there.
Dude,
I mean,
that's a solid theory, bro. That's a solid
Literally
theory,
what I
bro.
thought. That's literally what I've been thinking, and I was like waiting for you to say it. I'm like, wow. Okay, then I guess. Oh, fuck me. Then all right, you keep going.
All right, so we got the boys. They,
Yeah.
they dug 90 feet, still finding timbers every 10 feet. That's a little recap for the listeners.
Yeah, after
Where are
30
we at?
feet, they get
Like a
they
dumbass
form the
right
company Onslow, and they start putting real elbow grease into it and professional digs. So they dig another 60 feet, the total of 90 feet.
Jeez.
At the 90th foot mark, they hit another thing of timbers, and they're like, holy shit. But along with this layer of timbers is a 1 foot by 3 foot flagstone slab, some kind of a slab.
Oh,
Hmm.
On this
Changing up.
slab, yeah, change gears here. On this slab, there are like hieroglyphic symbol type things on it. Not like Egyptian hieroglyphics, but just glyphs, as in symbols.
glyphs.
Glyphs. And just symbols all over this thing that haven't been, seen in the area before or since. So there's like no way to really decode it. Unfortunately, this stone has been lost, so it can't even be seen with real human eyes.
They lost
Anymore.
the stone.
Yeah, apparently the
unquote.
stone was taken. I read a couple different things about what happened to it, but basically they removed the stone. Somebody says that it decrypts to 40 feet below 2 million pounds are buried, but that's a pretty broad jump, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
It's a
It's just
huge
like
jump.
random symbols, but there apparently are pictures of this. This, you can see the symbols, what they were, and I guess somebody can try and decode it or whatever. But one story that I heard, I couldn't stumble upon it in my research for this episode, but one story I heard about it was that the stone was given away or taken away or stole or sold to someone who was a bookshop owner, and that this stone actually served as the step in a doorway for a bookshop for like a really long time.
That's like
until
a
going
waste.
missing in the 1900s.
That's the thing about it. Like every part of me wants to tell you that's bullshit, but a lot of these stories, like a lot of the like the haunted stories, like the Dybbuk box and things like that have had movies made. Like there are stories that say someone found it in an estate sale or a yard sale, or they found it on a property and then sold it for nothing. I mean, there's tons of stories. There's a story, God, it happened a few years ago of like someone, there was like a Macy's department store, and in the basement of the Macy's department store, there was tons of old product from like the early 1900s.
Oh.
And inside one of the suitcases were like these deeds from this explorer. It was like this crazy shit that happened. And they just like were cleaning out stuff.
I mean, like, yeah, Toys R Us right now, they're finding these weird, like, 1990s toys underneath their shelves.
Yeah, they're finding like wrapped in plastic, like Nintendo 64 games and
condition.
No way.
Yeah, like that stuff like that happens.
So dope.
Like the carelessness
I guess
of
it would have
people.
to, yeah.
But it's like there's like the reason why we do this podcast is because like there's so many closed-minded people in the world who don't stop and talk about like weird shit like Bigfoot and talk about Oak Island and talk about this stuff. And those closed-minded people specifically are the ones who find these things and go,
right,
oh, there's some writing on it. It's probably not worth anything. I'm just going to give it away. And that's it.
Hey, man.
And that's it.
If you don't pop that cap off and be open-minded and slam that bulb in that brain, you ain't going to learn shit.
Yep. And that's like if you're a toy collector, like side note for geeks and stuff, and there are a lot of people that I know will understand, like you can go to yard sales or estate sales and you can find,
crazy
in
things.
the box Star Wars figure from 1978 right after the movie came out, and some person is selling at the yard sale
sold their kid's toy.
Yeah, it's just like, oh,
been there.
I'll take $15 for it, and that shit's selling for $300-$400,
if not more.
Yeah, I remember my grandfather, he would go to yard sales all the time, and I would go to them because it's fun as shit, obviously. And I remember back in the day, I didn't have a bunch of Star Wars toys. Like I remember I had friends who had like the big fucking walkers and shit, and I always wanted them, but I never had them. And I remember going to the yard sales and stuff and seeing all those all the time. Just like full Star Wars sets. Just, those kids, they had every toy imaginable and they would just give them away. And be like, oh, Grandpa, please buy these. No, that's toy.
No, son, you can't have that toy.
No, I ain't a lawnmower.
It's not a lawnmower. You can't have
a lawnmower. No.
So,
but they're available out there. Go to yard sales, people, flea markets. Yeah, they're there.
So, how did we get onto this? Oh, there's a stone.
So the slab.
Yeah. So back to it.
Dude, rich people buy crazy stuff, man. I bet you Nick Cage has it. Probably has.
He probably does.
He probably stole it.
Probably used it as a bowling ball. Like some like weird piece in his house. He's like, oh, this is what he used for my doorstop. This is like a good paperweight.
It's on his fireplace. Something
it is.
the hearth.
He's looking
the hearth
at
of
it.
his
Mantle.
fireplace.
And there probably is someone, like, hypothetically speaking, there probably is, like...
Hybrothetically speaking.
Hybrothetically speaking. There is someone out there who generationally is probably, like, someone who has tons of money. Like, I just saw Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We saw it, Johnny and I.
Oh, whoa.
And
yeah, we did.
And there's a kind of a subplot, like, not really spoiling anything, but there's a subplot of someone who basically, like, collects these specific things. Dinosaurs. And
I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not spoiling anything. I saw the movie. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The only fossil he doesn't have. He must
like
kill the
DNA
dinosaur
samples.
to get it.
And I think there are people, like generations of families that exist who, like in the 1900s or 1930s, when this doorstep went missing, it was mything. It was someone who was looking to build their collection and find like the skulls of, so-and-so and this and that. And this was a part of their collection and they bought it up, and either A, they hold on to it and pass it down from generation to generation and say, hey, one day when people know what this is or want to bust this open again, this is going to be worth something. Yeah. The same way people do with toys, except...
Or they don't know shit about shit and they'll just keep it
and they just have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's also a plausibility. But I do think there are people who collect artifacts that aren't museums, that are these like wealthy people who have them all basically in like another room in their house.
Maybe they're under timbers in an island, timbers
maybe
down.
Under timbers.
And you would never know. I mean, you just see this. People have probably seen it and don't realize that they've seen it, you know? They've probably seen it in a regular occasion. I remember I went to one of my ex-girlfriends was hanging out with her dad and his girlfriend, and we went to like one of their employers' house. And dude, this fucking place was nuts. Like millions upon millions of dollars was this house. And we go in there, and there's all this crazy art that is like so fucking old. I can't even explain it. He had this knife on his mantle that looked like one of the knives out of the Disney's Jungle Book, like the live-action Jungle Book from the 90s.
Shit.
Badass, like golden-looking sweet dagger with gems all in it and shit. He had this one piece of art that was like, he said it was BC. You know, it was like rock, stone shit, like a wheel. And it was like, what?
The first circle used by the Flintstones.
First circle shape ever found, created by man. Dude, yeah, rich people in just normal places have all this crazy shit that's
weird?
that old.
I don't understand what the infatuation is. I'm not just saying rich people in general, but like people who want that stuff. Like I get historians and they want to like relive the past, but like what makes somebody think that's worth something? Like I don't find
It's
value
rarity.
in a
I mean, it's
paint-
the only piece.
I guess, but it's like I don't give a shit. Is that just me? Okay, it is
The
just me.
wheel. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So either
So
way, these guys, this stone was removed, and this company, they keep on digging, right? They get a couple more feet down before they call it quits for the day. And what was customary for this company to do at the end of every digging day, they would slam this lead rod into the ground and like hammer it down like another cut like 10 feet or whatever, a couple of feet.
It's mine.
Yeah, just to like see what they would hit, you know?
Oh, like a Hail Mary. Kind of like, for the rest of the day, just 10 more feet.
Yeah,
We'll just
see if
check it
there's
out.
anything there. Yeah, so they would hammer this fucking rod down in there, and finally on this day, they hit something solid as fuck, just like 8 feet down, and
Solid as fuck? You mean like
like fucking
More
solid, like solid as
timbers?
fuck, fucking solid, brah.
tight?
So instead of everyone being like, holy shit, this is what we've been working for this whole time, somebody go get sandwiches and weed and shit and come back, and everyone else is going to start digging.
I wish you were the manager of every single like industrial team.
Yeah, and go get some sweet teas and shit because we're digging all freaking night.
That's rad.
Like, I would not stop. Like, if you found signs of anything that you were searching for like that, why would you stop? Just because it's like
so they
the
just
end of the day. Yeah, they stop for the night and they go in and they call it quits for the night. Next day they come out, the shaft is flooded up to 32 feet.
Of water.
Flooded with water. Yeah, salt water. So the team can't decide what to do. They can't figure it out. They can't drain it in any way. Everything they try fail.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They can't drain this freaking thing. Every time they drain it, it fills right back up. So the only thing they think to do is dig another shaft identical to it right next to it. Yeah. So they build a shaft right next to it, and they tunnel all the way down to this like 93 feet again. And they're going to tunnel over to basically the same depth that they just dug at, which seems like a stupid plan anyways.
Yeah.
So they do this, and as soon as they breach the wall, just like you would imagine, their own tunnel fills with water.
Well, yeah, duh.
With them in it.
Yeah, with them in it. Luckily, they were able to escape. Nobody died. But the company was just like, fuck this. We almost lost some people. You know, they spent all this money digging another hole the same size.
Wait, can you? I want to retrace this. So they built hole number one. They built this huge trench in the ground, and they pierced something that caused a flood. They did build another hole right next to
No,
that.
they didn't build
adjacently.
the first hole. But yeah, I guess they dug the hole, yeah.
And then they did the second one, and then they connected the two,
Yeah.
trying to change the flooding? Like,
Well, I guess trying
what?
to tunnel over to where this item that they just, they hit with the rod.
Right.
But in my mind, it's like, okay, guys, tunnel down at least another 8 feet, if not hella more than 8 feet.
and see if you can, exactly, and see if you can hit that same rock.
Right. But
Instead of wasting 90
I guess
feet
they
of
go
work.
down to the point they had dug before and
Weird.
dig over.
Yeah, but these are guys who don't do this for a living. These
That's
are
true.
dudes who are just
That's
like,
true.
hey, I found a thing. Let's dig.
I found a thing,
point.
and they formed a
point.
company. So, I mean, several years have gone by, and a lot of people have invested money. So this has turned into like a professional dig at this point. But
Who are we
at
to
the
judge?
core, it is just these guys, right?
Amateurs. Yeah.
Amateurs.
We'd be probably much worse at this, let's be honest.
All the while, keep in mind, too, these guys have property on the island, so I know every night, every day, I'd be searching that island for everything I could find.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Probably were.
Hell yeah.
You know? So the Vons are done. Onslow, done. They're not doing anymore. They shut down camp. 50 fucking years go by. Nobody touches the damn thing. 50 years. So it like corrodes. The manholes, they kind of fill in. Shit's all overgrown, whatever. Then in 1849, the Churro Company started digging. And then, yeah, the churros. And then at 80-something feet, it begins to flood. And it completely floods again. So what these guys decide to do is they, instead of digging this hole, they build a platform over the hole. And then they drill down into it.
Oh.
And so the first time they freaking drill, dude, they pull up pieces of gold chain.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So they end up drilling down like 160-something feet at this point. It's
Wow.
like past the point where they had drilled before. Well, they apparently hit some object. They drill into it. They pull up. They've got a little bit of gold chain. So they push it back in there. And they go through a piece of wood, some metal that feels like, some stuff that feels like loose coinage. Go through some more wood. Then through some more coinage. And then through some more wood. And then seemingly into nothing. As if they had just drilled through two, like, chests of treasure, right?
Like layers of treasure, essentially.
Wow.
Dude, that would be so fucking dope.
But that's what, like now 150 feet down? Like, what's that?
160 feet is where they found the first
Okay.
piece of gold chain, and they kept going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Th-
Yeah, they just,
They could be...
they're
they could be
just way
200
at the
feet
top,
down.
and they're just sending this drill bit down, so they're not even, like,
Yeah.
in danger or anything. They're just sending this drill bit down.
Send it down.
Yeah. And so they find this stuff, and they're like, definitely, that's where the box is. That's the same box that the dudes were talking about before. I think mistakenly I said 160-something feet, but it was just right at the same level that we were talking about.
Oh, 90?
before. Yeah.
All right, well, yeah, okay, cool. So they're like at 100 or whatever feet now. Okay.
Yeah, so basically what they decide to do is they're like, okay, that's got to be the box that they were talking about the first time. We know that there's a treasure chest down there now. Let's go fucking get it. So they decide to build a third shaft, just like the other two were, but on like an adjacent side, a different side, and basically burrow down the same exact way that the other guys did, but from a different direction.
This island has so many holes now.
So many
too many
fucking
holes.
holes,
Is it
dude.
even
That's a
an
very
island
good point.
anymore?
Is it even an island, dude? That's a very good point that you bring that up. Because this fucking floods, they give up, and basically other companies just continue to come in and just fucking gut this place, dude.
For gold.
Yeah.
They're trying to find it, like trying to get to the bottom of that original pit. But what ends up happening over like the next like 50 to 60, 100 years is people just wiping this fucking island out, moving so much dirt, it's unrecognizable, dude.
Jeez.
It's crazy. And what they had finally found out at this time is once they dug that third hole and they see how it fills up, they started noticing that it would rise and fall like with the tides as the sea tides rise and fell. So they're like, okay, it has to be pretty closely connected to the waters. And this is not a big island. This is a very small island. It'd be like, like a tiny neighborhood size, It's tiny.
Sure.
So it's not far-fetched that even if there were underwater caverns and something, they'd be pretty closely connected to the seawater.
Essentially, yeah. And they could
But
Why was nothing floating? Why was none of the gold that they were drilling floating
Does
up through the holes?
gold float?
man,
I don't
that
think gold
shit,
floats.
that shit shrinks like a motherfucker, man. That's
Yeah,
why it's
I
at the
feel like
bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, I feel like almost all...
Or like anything. Why did even if you drilled through something, why was none of the wood floating?
Yeah, I mean, because that is also under many hundreds of feet of dirt that they were drilling through.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that is true.
Yeah, so basically they're pulling up remnants of it on their drill bit. So they basically drill down, pull their drill bit out, expect the bit, and they're like, okay, there's little bits of wood on. They could feel the resistance changing, like as they're going through dirt. They know what it feels like. When they hit wood, they know what that feels like. Then they're
Armageddon,
going through
essentially.
what feels like metal. They know what that feels like and whatnot. And then when they bring the bit up, they inspect it and they see those materials. They're like, okay, that's exactly what I thought I felt, you know?
I want to feel it.
So during this time, they realize that this water is rising and falling with the tides, and there are 2 nearby coves. There's a cove on the north side, like northeast side of the island, and a south side cove. They found that in these coves, there are actually built like drainage, like filtered drainage systems made out of stone that are like, think like 4 or 5 channels, like flanking out and then coming into one like tunnel
Central area? Okay.
that leads down underground into this tunnel that's
What?
about 500 yards away.
That's
Like
really
a filtration system for the island.
Yeah, so basically think of removing the sand from the beach, and under that sand would be a series of blocks that are basically funneling water into this one single tunnel, and that tunnel heads to the pit. And then on top of these fanned out tunnels, there is like coconut fibers and rocks, smaller rocks and stuff, basically a filtration system. And then sand put on top of that. So water would filter through here and not other big solids and shit, right? And to do that, they would have had to build a dam to block off the incoming seawater so they could build this shit and then take the dam down and whatnot. And do this twice, once on the northeast side and once on the south side. And these tunnels go all the way underground, hundreds of feet, and apparently go to about 100 feet or so before they would fill this vault, this pit.
What is down there?
Like,
What's
what?
not something?
That
Seems like a
somebody
fucking booby
buried
trap, doesn't it?
something.
like Goonies style, like super saved section. I mean, like
I have
total
that written on my
Goonies.
notes. I say Goonies, one-eyed Willy shit.
it's booby taps, booby taps.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Jeez.
So this company, there's like, man, there's nothing they can do. They tried to dig, they gave up. New company comes in, they fuck shit up, like you were saying, Johnny. They just start bulldozing shit. They're moving shit around.
Making
Blah, blah,
it
blah,
not
blah.
an island. They're like
Not an
defacing
island, yeah,
the
just totally
island.
defacing it. A couple years later, somebody else comes in. They dig a ton of new holes, tons of new shafts. And while they're actually digging, I think it was like 61 or something, there was like a big collapse of the original money pit, the original hole. And it collapsed further down into the ground into like a cavern that was apparently underneath it.
Okay.
So the original money pit that these guys were drilling down into, and they thought they found this, gold into wood, into gold into wood, that is now fallen into a sinkhole below where it was. So it's even deeper in the ground than it was. And on top of that
Jeez.
is all this bullshit that people have been building in this tunnel in order to try and get to the bottom of it.
So can we take a step back and remember that like whoever put it there first, this gold, wizard or not, they had to back in like the 15th, 16th century. How the fuck?
How'd they get
Like,
down there, man? Is it a common thing for people to be digging 100-foot holes back then? 160-foot holes?
Or getting underneath
I mean,
the
listen, we're
islands.
talking like, I think we're underestimating the fact like pyramids existed.
Yeah,
People built pyramids, like
yeah.
the pyramids, the architecture,
That's
the
still-
art, all that, like
yeah.
that still existed. Fucking pirate ships, like ships
Crazy.
and cannons and this and that and all. Like, I think we're underestimating like the capabilities of somebody this far back in time. And this could date back to, I mean, God knows when. Like, just because we weren't exploring doesn't mean that back in like the Knight's time and the Dark Ages and all that, just because that they weren't exploring land and deeming it property like Christopher Columbus and shit, doesn't mean that
Well.
people didn't find this and bury it back then.
Dude, I mean, it's argued that that America was discovered over 100 years before Christopher Columbus sailed out.
Yeah.
Whatever year that ends into that he sailed out in.
People had boats, like Vikings existed.
And it's actually funny that you say that because a big connection to Mr. Sinclair, who they claim was the first person to actually discover America. They say that this is possibly his doing. Pretty crazy. But we'll get to that. So basically, companies just come in, they destroy the fucking island, they leave because they can't find shit, right? All the landmarks are gone, there's nothing left. Finally, a company figures out where the original pit was, and they decide, okay, What we're going to do this time is we're going to dig a tunnel down 100 feet again, and then we're going to build a platform 100 feet down in the fucking hole, and then start drilling from there. So what they did is they started drilling and immediately started pulling shit up. And I think this is where the 160 mark comes in. About 160 feet down, they pull up the bit, and there's a little shred of paper on the end of their bit.
Paper?
Yeah, little rolled up piece of paper. They unroll it, and it's about 1.5 inches long, and it's clearly has handwriting on it. It's got like what looks like a V and an I, or an R, or an I.
Like Roman numerals.
Yeah, possibly so, but it looks like cursive writing. It's very nice. Okay. It was written with a quill pen, for sure, and it was on a lamb skin. So it was like some kind of a piece of some kind of a manuscript, right?
And it was dry?
It was dry. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it was probably wet a little bit because it was probably all saturated under there by now. There's probably like a slushy mess under there right now, you know?
Weird.
It sounds like that SpongeBob episode where they like try to drill down to find the magic.
What episode?
SpongeBob episode.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
They drill down to find like what magic is under a well, and it's this whole entire thing, and they find like all these weird fucking things like Santa Claus, and they find, oh, it's crazy. This is what it reminds me of. All right, keep going. Nick's giving me a look because he loves me when I do these weird comparisons. You're up.
Well, if the reason this paper is so important because it brings in the crazy theory. One could say, number one, we've already pulled up some crazy theories, so this is just a fucking big crazy theory about this that seems to jive with possible manuscripts at the bottom of Oak Island.
Has anyone like read it? Like, is it like a...
No, it's literally like, I mean, you can actually look at a picture of it and see exactly what it is. It's a tiny shred of paper.
Well, I can't.
You can after this podcast.
Yes, I can.
So it's like a tiny piece of paper. It just looks like, it's like so well written, it almost looks like a print. You know, it's like very nice. With a quill pen, so it's written by someone with better handwriting than you or I.
Well, we don't have
to write anymore.
Oh, exactly. We don't. Like, I'm writing on my sheet of paper, and it looks like dog shit. Because like back then, they actually had to write, and it meant something. They'd write notes to loved ones. They'd write things about war. Everything was in writing, and now everything's in text.
Yeah, they had to write books.
Like people, you do. Okay, I'm about to get mad.
Scribes.
Do you know kids in elementary school now don't have to learn cursive?
Good. Cursive sucks.
I know, but it's like, okay, never mind. I guess my point's gone. Taylor, you can go.
You try to think of learn graffiti.
There's art. I think some graffiti's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, crazy theory number one.
Number one.
Sir Francis Bacon, widely believed to be the true writer of Shakespeare's works.
Yeah.
And it is apparently not a proven fact that William Shakespeare was even a writer at all.
Yeah, apparently he was a collective of people or a specific person just as a writer's name or like a pet name.
Yeah, it's like a manager, an actor, and all these. Yeah, possibly a collective of people. Really fucking weird.
Taylor is having a stroke right now. He won't be back for a little bit.
Yeah, I have to read my own handwriting. Hold on.
Taylor is having a brain fart.
So you're saying that this writing has something to do with Shakespeare not being a real human?
It's the lost manuscripts, bro.
Yeah, Shakespeare is not a real human, dude. Apparently, it is not proven that he is even a writer at all. And the reason Bacon needed a cover author is to hide his true thoughts because of his close relation to the king and queen.
He wanted to express himself and not be judged.
Right. Apparently, he had very controversial things to say.
Too right.
And I don't know if you could tell by the sound of my voice, but I don't read much Shakespeare, so I can't really say. But
I've read a good.
I reckon
bit,
they say it's controversial. I don't know.
Some of the things, not only are they satire, but some of the tragedies I've written in Shakespeare or in Shakespearean writings, I guess, some of them touch on some topics that I don't personally think are as PG as maybe the queen or king would like.
Yeah, but is PG controversial? Like non-PG, is that controversial?
I don't know.
I don't know. But what blew my mind, like I had heard the Kevin Bacon wrote all Shakespeare stuff. I had heard all that stuff too. But
Kevin Bacon.
Wait, that went right over my head. That went right over my head.
But what I had never heard, how many degrees can we go? But what I've never heard is that Sir Francis Bacon was like a scientist, he was a scholar, he was all these other things. And apparently, he was real big into doing experiments on preserving documents and manuscripts.
Oh.
Like, that was one of his big things, is he was trying to figure out better ways to
Interesting.
preserve documents for the long term.
So this was a way to do it.
Yeah, it's arguable. Yeah, this is
Sounds
the argument
pretty
is this is
elaborate.
possible that at the bottom of this pit, he's got some form of method that he's using. And one of the weird ones that I found that he talks about using is somehow using liquid mercury to preserve
Yeah.
it. I'm not sure exactly
I've heard about
how
that.
he would utilize that, but that's what they said.
I think I heard about that. I think it was the liquid mercury is what's surrounding the document and like kills off any other essentially harmful material that would be
Anything that
decomposing
would
it.
attack it and like break it down.
I guess. I don't know. I guess I'm no
I'm no
preserver person.
I mean, even
no
if like
scientist.
even if the Sir Francis Bacon thing was an issue, I was a theater kid growing up. Like I did the whole drama
theater.
thing. Like, I did
I
that.
didn't know that. So did I.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. It's past the point, Johnny.
All right.
And
I just want to relate to you, Nick.
Shakespeare, the whole like lost manuscripts of Shakespeare thing. Like I've heard it. Okay, I've heard it 1,000 times. But the question that always plagued my mind was, why would he need to hide his manuscripts, even if he didn't write them and someone else wrote for Shakespeare? Why would they need to hide
Yeah.
the original manuscripts of Shakespeare?
What's the point?
It doesn't matter. Like,
Well, I guess if they were written by him, he would at least want, if he did want it to be known, he's like proud of them.
but
he
to
would
be
maybe
buried that in depth,
that's crazy.
The only way I buy what you're saying about Sir Francis Bacon makes perfect sense. It's the lost manuscripts of Shakespeare that bugs the hell out of me, because I just don't think it's important enough. Like, yeah, sure, he was one of the greatest writers. Yeah, whatever. Okay, his writing is fine.
Wow.
If it's fine, like it's Johnny, it's fine.
For his
Yeah,
time,
I'm not
I
really
think it
a
was
Shakespeare
totally.
guy neither.
I'm not a Shakespeare guy either. It's fine, Johnny.
For his time, it's crazy.
Johnny,
it's so
It's
romance,
fine.
murder.
It wasn't
love.
romance.
Fine. Fucking keep going.
Whatever. I think that maybe if we're talking conspiracy theory here, I'm more on the side that maybe Bacon and Shakespeare were in it together, and maybe Shakespeare was created as a distraction to give people entertainment, because that's what entertainment is. Entertainment is a distraction. Entertainment is
Yeah.
what takes us away
From reality.
from the things that are happening in reality. And I think Shakespeare at the time was someone who was to distract the people from what was happening in front of them.
The
I think
Playboys.
that's what it was. And I think Sir Francis Bacon had some deep shit going on that he was trying to dig into, whether it's reanimating corpses, whatever it is. And I think his research was probably in cahoots with someone else, and that could be my only explanation of why they'd want to bury it so deep down, because he was so on it, he was so technologically advanced that he could build this 500-foot hole. He knew how to do it. He had the capabilities, and then he buried his manuscripts down there and made it all one big distraction. That's the only way I'd buy into that.
Yeah.
This sounds
What?
crazy. I'm saying it's witches and wizards.
There's something bigger down. I'm
A
telling
witch is a wizard, a wizard, a witch.
I'm saying
There's something bigger down there.
I think.
I
And
agree. I agree.
I know exactly what it is, but I'm not going to jump ahead.
Well,
Wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. But even if it was just him trying to preserve something, what if, burying it this far underground was part of, like, oh yeah, that's just part of it, part of the preservation, thing that he does.
Yeah.
Not
buying.
I don't know. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. What if?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
What if it was like, okay, guys, I got a fucking sweet method of preserving shit. I'm gonna close the casket. Anybody got anything they need to throw in? Let me know. I got a boat
Like
going soon.
One of those old time.
Yeah, it's a time capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be exactly what it is. And that would be the true test if something really was preserved
Yeah.
well.
Okay,
Because
so
if you
I'm
gave
gonna-
it to someone, let's say you gave this item that you're trying to preserve to some kind of an authority and a government or whatever, that shit would get destroyed. It would get taken by somebody else. It would get,
wait.
stolen by somebody who doesn't care about it, and it would get opened and destroyed. No one would ever know anyways. It would have
Here,
to
I
be
just- yeah.
buried.
Right.
I disagree with you, Taylor, because the whole point of a time capsule is to see it when you grew up. But like, what's the point of like burying something that is so well like preserved that you're never gonna see it again? Like, well, it was preserved,
That's
but
how
now
good it's preserved.
like
Because it's going to be preserved for certainly longer than his lifetime, right?
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
And then hopefully long, like just such a long period of time that somebody just happens upon this thing. And that's like the true test of how good it's preserved. They pop this shit up and it's like, oh my God, I'm reading this shit like it's my, like a pamphlet. You know, this is beautiful. Beautiful. It's printed yesterday. I don't know. That's like the true test. And then what if it was some crazy preservation that no one knew? And now we have a new method of preservation.
I mean, could you imagine that's it? Like, we have sarcophagi, and we have all these different methods of preservation, mummification, and whatever Freddie Mercury's. And then, like, this is the big thing. Like, they've gone out of their way to bury this and say, in the future, someone's going to find this and it's going to teach them about preservation. It's like, no, it's not. We're going to have fucking flying cars.
yeah. At that
It's
point,
not going to do anything.
it's under our noses. We don't even see it until it's too late.
Just like, people burying treasure, like, sure, if this were 200 feet deep and then the treasure was there, I'd say, yeah, this is probably treasure. I mean, I think, like, inflation and shit were happening back then, so I don't think even if pirates, had this fortune that was $1 million, 1 million...
2 million
rubies
pounds.
or whatever. 2 million pounds.
1 million francs.
It wouldn't be worth anything really in the future. Like, 2 million pounds back then is like $200,000 now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which is good money.
I don't know how much it is.
But then why wouldn't they? Why would they preserve it? It's gonna be worth less money.
There's
than...
It's
just
gold and shit,
Oh,
right? So
yeah.
that should be
Goes up
expansive.
in
man.
value.
it's all gold and it's complicated to get to, but it's like, who do you, for treasure and stuff, like, I get you're trying to hide it, but for it to go that long without getting uncovered, and I get that there's like sunken ships that are found, and there's
Oh
this
yeah,
that's
all the
found,
time.
and blah,
I think
blah,
the biggest treasure ever found was like within the last 2 years, wasn't it? Like the biggest pirate treasure ever found.
Yep.
Fucking crazy.
And like that stuff, like the sea makes sense because people will, the pirates will go on their little quests or whatever they are,
They're a little.
and they'll load up their little pirate ships full of all their booties.
Sounds like a fun time.
And then they get attacked, the ship sinks, the gold sinks with the ship faster than the ship sinks, boom, it's gone. But when you bury something this deep, I don't think this is someone hiding something. I think this is someone or something trying to keep something away. This is like Jumanji.
I agree.
Like, Jumanji is probably down there, and they are trying to keep whatever is down there away from everybody else, and we should not be digging for it.
Yeah. Like, think about if the tides are going in and going out all the time, and imagine if it did have some kind of a pump motion to it. Sometimes it's full, sometimes it's empty, so water would be rushing past something at all times.
Right.
What if, like, at the bottom there's some kind of radioactive material that they had to have this water action just to cool it or whatever, to
I
keep
think
it from being fucking crazy.
keeping it like the salt water, maybe it was a superstition, an idea that if it was something specific, it was like, keeping the water in, keeping the water out. We have to keep it regulated, blah, 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 blah. And then the gold in manuscripts are probably like surefire signs back then of being like, okay, if they find the gold and they make it this far, they'll stop because they go, we got everything we needed. Let's stop digging. We got it. And then the manuscripts are even deeper that are basically like, ooh, there's manuscripts. Maybe this will tell people to stop digging because this is not okay. And yet people are still dig. Like, I think those things were
I would be digging
decoys.
faux show. I would have never stopped. That's what blows my mind is that these companies stopped knowing that shit was there. Even though this company only pulled up this one piece of paper and apparently no gold and shit. I don't know. Oddly enough, though, you later find out there was gold on that fucking drill bit. So, moving on into the future, company gave up. Dude named Frederick Blair owned the lease for like the next 50 years or so. And it is within this period that we get our first owl sighting on the island.
Owl?
An owl.
Owl.
But no, I'm not talking about the Canadian Nyctea scandacia or the Canadian snowy owl.
Talk about a motherfucking Freemason.
I'm talking about a Freemason, dog. I'm talking about
Whoa.
Franklin D. Roosevelt, a 27-year-old investor.
Cool.
And he remained invested for the majority of his life, even during his presidency. Franklin D. Roosevelt, yeah, his 27-year-old just happened to find his way onto the island as an investor, you know, into the
I don't think it
expedition.
was a habit. I think he was part of Bohemian Grove before it was a thing, and they were like, "Hey, check out this fucking island, dude. It's gonna be crazy, dude."
Yeah, 27 years old, and he's investing in shit like this, dude. He knows what's up. He's got owls sewn onto his jackets, probably. Another extraordinary human being to be involved with this is John Wayne. He had part ownership in the excavation at different points in time.
What?
Yeah. And so the owner of this lease, Frederick Blair, for this 50-year period, when he was looking for drill operators to start his operation, he naturally reached out to this dude named William Chappell, who just happened to be the operator on the previous excavation where the paper was found. Chappell had a fucking secret. During that drilling, he was the one who inspected the bit, and instead of telling the rest of the team that he also found remnants of gold on that bit, as well as the paper, he kept that to himself. Fucked up, dude.
Weird.
Yeah. So he tells Frederick Blair that, yeah, there was gold on that bit. Let's fucking dig. Probably worked out some kind of deal where, you know, an informant gig where he gets some money, if some kind of a cut, right?
Yeah.
So they keep digging, just like everybody else. They can't find shit. 1931, they give up. Another team comes in, give up. Now, for years, people come in, can't find shit, give up. And it continues.
Like a certain point, I feel like they just, what's their incentive? They're not finding anything. Why would they keep wanting to go? Like, why
It is kind of weird. That's a good point you bring it up now, because in 1959, Robert and Milfred Restall came in, and they're like a weird couple. They were a husband and wife with 2 kids who previously worked as like a sideshow act as motorcycle drivers. It's like the most badass shit on the planet. They were motorcycle drivers in like iron cage balls, you know?
Yeah,
where they both drove in that shit?
Yeah, like,
I remember they call it
gosh.
Death Ball or whatever. Like, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they invented this shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, these guys, they would drive around these metal cages. Just,
No, I've seen it. It's crazy.
yeah, you've seen them. Apparently these were the first guys to do it, and they were doing it in like the 40s and 50s. They did it for like 20 years or so before deciding to retire, and I guess they were just like, oh, fuck it, let's just go hunt for gold for the rest of our lives.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah, pretty fucking dope. So in 1959, they moved to the island and continued for 6 years until Robert and his son both fatally died in a tragic accident, and 2 others actually died with him. So up to that point, that had been like 6 total deaths at that point, which is not funny. But one of the things that I thought is kind of dumb is, those were 6 random deaths that had happened. I didn't even mention the other ones, but just random deaths that happened. And in the TV show that they have on History Channel, that's literally like one of their slogans is, legend states 7 must die, 6 have fallen.
Whoa.
Like, what, dude? Like,
So if a
you want
seventh-
somebody on your team to fucking die?
A new
So
person,
if a
like a
7th
sacrifice?
person dies, it could be.
It unleashes the fucking... Yeah, or like there's some key down there. Of course, this is a made-up myth. Like, where would this info come from ever?
Where have we heard the number 7 before? And didn't you say good old Franklin was an owl?
Dude,
AKA
frankly,
Freemason?
Frank Deasy was an owl for sure, man. They were all part of the
27 was the
NWO.
number.
Isn't the number 7 related to Bohemian
I think it's
Grove? And aren't
27.
the owls related to the number 7 and Bohemian Grove?
There's owls all over this thing, dude. Hey, yo, hi, bros. Little pause for the cause as we pass our money-saving powers on to you. If you're anything like me and you like chewing massive wads of gum while being admired for wearing hilariously gruesome t-shirts, then do the natural thing and head over to glorpgum.com and enter in the promo code I'mABroLever. That's going to get you 15% off any purchase over $20. That's I'mABroLever. I''M space A space B R O L I E V E R. Glorp. So the main connection that I can feel Nick prodding at is, dude, the Knights Templar are the ones who dug this fucking hole, Johnny. These fucking Knights Templars, man. So the TV show goes into it a little bit. There's other people now that inhabit the island that have the search going. 2 guys came in, the Lineagina Bros, and they were doing a show, and all they do is drill, and they drag you along to the next episode, and they don't find anything. They don't find anything. But they have found some evidence. They have found some coins, Spanish coins. I think they even found like a knife dagger type thing. They found some small stuff. They found what they think is this encased box that the other people have drilled into. They think they found that, but for some reason haven't gotten around to go getting it. I don't know. But one of the things they talk about in the show is the connection of the Templars a lot. And I think they recently, in the last season, they found some big-ass like gold cross that they are sure is a Templar cross.
And the Knights Templar are they're Masonic, and the Bohemian Grove and the NWO and the Owls, all that, the Freemasons, they're Masonic. So it's like the Freemasons are directly associated to the Knights Templar, which makes this whole thing reek of Freemasons.
Yeah, apparently on this island as well, on the north side of the island, the dude that currently inhabits that side, his name's Fred Nolan, he's got this wild theory where he has gone on a hunt around his property for these giant boulders, which he didn't go looking for them, he just found them. But there's a series of giant boulders that are in specific, like, conical shape, like big old Hershey Kiss shapes. And I think there's like 6 of them along his property, spread out pretty broad, but they make up the shape of a cross. And oddly enough, it goes along with this crazy claim by the descendants of Prince Henry Sinclair, who a Freemason as well, a Knights Templar. So Henry Sinclair, he was a Scottish and Norwegian nobleman. He was the Earl of Orkney, and was the builder of the famed Rosslyn Chapel.
Okay.
Which apparently this Rosslyn Chapel, they say, is just riddled with Masonic symbolism, things that resemble the like induction ceremonies in Masonic like ceremonies and stuff, all these different Masonic stuff, and different secrets about what the Knights Templar may or may not have done with all of the holy relics.
Oh, wow.
So it is said that Prince Henry Sinclair is said that he has traveled to America, bringing with him 300 colonists, and it is said that he built a quote-unquote Grail Castle in Nova Scotia.
A Grail?
A Grail Castle in Nova Scotia. And this is said by the descendants of Sinclair. And there's even some, like one of them, I think, wrote a book about it. And so basically this castle was built in an area called the Cross, and it could be reached via river from any side of either side of Nova Scotia.
Oak fucking Island!
Oddly enough, yeah.
What?
The mouth of these 2 rivers ends at Oak Island.
Oh, and the crosses are the rocks.
Yeah, exactly. These rocks are in the shape of a cross.
That's pretty fucking weird.
It is crazy, dude. So Sinclair's ancestors claim this to be true, and that they even claim that Canada itself as a whole was colonized as a direct result of the Holy Grail being taken there.
What?
Yeah, so if you don't know, it's said that, all the holy relics gathered together, and that was the main, like, voyage of the Knights Templar. They got to get all the relics together, and they got to get them to a safe place. It said they were brought to, that Sinclair brought them to America, and perhaps buried them in Nova Scotia on Oak Island in an area called the Cross. And it would have to be something buried in a crazy, crazy spot like that. And think about this. Like, the Holy Relics was like the Holy Grail, right? Of course, the Holy Grail. And the Ark of the Covenant, right?
Yeah.
And probably some other things. So the Ark of the Covenant was also thought to be some kind of a radioactive device, right?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the Ark of the Covenant is...
Was it?
Yeah, some people believe that it was some kind of a radioactive device that either created power or it created some kind of a food source.
Okay.
For aliens.
For aliens. But, yeah, so it's said that, I guess, when the Jews had it in the desert for 40 years, they were given this when they were in the desert, and it actually created, like, an edible algae that they could eat.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. So it said
it was-
that
it was
said
a
that
God
was one
particle.
thing. Yeah, it's God particles.
Yeah, it's a God particle.
Eating little tiny green nugs, man. So think
nuts.
about if the Ark of the Covenant was some kind of radioactive item. Wouldn't that jive with what we were talking about a minute ago with like having to bury it in a spot where water is going to be constantly rushing in, rushing out, rushing in and out?
Yeah.
And possibly they had a way to control the way it pumps in and out. Maybe that the pulley system was one day rigged
Use that
up
power.
as like, yeah, maybe it wasn't power. Maybe it was like a siphon type system that like once you
Yeah.
get it started, it's just going to do whatever it needs to do. I don't know. Like cooling this radiating Ark of the Covenant at the bottom of this fucking pit.
All that makes sense. And what's down there, I truly think, is Ark of the Covenant of the Holy Grail. Do I think they do what they were shown in Indiana Jones, the movies? No, I do not. But I do think that they have some sort of power. The idea of power that if they were found, it would shatter worlds and minds and all this stuff. But I haven't seen the show, Taylor, and I know you mentioned the show when you were doing the research for this.
Oh yeah, it's a cool show. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot.
I think of the scene in Jurassic Park where they're digging up the bones and then that crew comes in at the beginning and they, boom, shoot something in the ground and all of a sudden it's like, look, we've mapped out all of the ground. Have they on this show
Bro.
done any sort of X-ray shit?
Bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love the show. I love the Laguna Bros. I love the hunt that they're doing. I love everything. I like the show a lot. But, dude, they drag this shit on. It's like 6 or 7 seasons in, and they have dragged it along. First episode of this shit. First episode. They drop a camera down into the main hole. Borehole 10X is what it's called on, what it has come to be called now.
Yeah.
They drop a camera down in there, right? Of course, cut to commercial. Boom. But whatever. And, of course, the big reveal can't be right then and there. It has to be at the end of the episode where, okay, they're in this special room that they call the war room. All good. Makes sense. They need to have a place to strategize.
Mm-hmm.
As they're about to play the footage, one of the dudes, boom, presses play. All the files are there. He presses play. Wham! All the files are gone.
Oh, come on.
Dude, right? Dude, it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen on TV.
Where'd the files go? Oh, they were
Besides
corrupted.
that mockumentary about mermaids, this was like second to that.
What's it called
I'll
again?
tell you
What's the
what,
show called
the
again?
worst,
The Curse
the
of
worst
Oak
thing
Island.
ever. The worst thing ever was that dude who got eaten by the anaconda, where he put that suit on. He's like, and now for the biggest television event in history, I'm gonna be eaten alive by an anaconda.
Did he die?
No,
Oh,
it didn't
okay.
It didn't even bite him.
It wouldn't take the bait. Like,
No, it
I was
wouldn't
like,
take
dude,
him.
you smell like farts, man. Like, no.
Snake's like, get away,
Like, bro.
get away.
Ah.
You're wearing a suit that's gonna hurt my stomach. Fuck
I'm
off,
I'm
bro.
a vegan, dude.
I'm a vegan. I don't even eat meat. I eat vegetables.
You have a lot of carbs in
My
you,
best
dude.
friend's name is Mowgli. I just that's so frustrating that like I think of the shit that James Cameron did. Where he's like, I have a craft that's gonna get me the deepest in the ocean that ever is gonna be done. Like I think of that, and then I'm just like, isn't the simple solution here to just use high tech?
Just fucking go down
X-ray?
there, bro. Yeah, exactly. So on the show, yeah, they've sent cameras down there. The footage goes missing. They've tried to do weird X-rays. It comes up with images that are, a 3D rendering of what could be down there. So it extends it for a whole nother half season, where it shows you what you imagine to be this cavern. So remember that when we were at 100 and something feet, and all that fall through happened, and it fell to about 160 something feet. And so it, like the box that was apparently found, fell into a cavern below it. Now in the show, they've, established where that's at, and you can actually see this cavern, in a 3D rendering. They decide to take a diver down there. Divers go down there. They doesn't seem to be what they thought it was. Seems to be pretty natural. Don't see the boxes that they thought they saw. They don't fucking find anything. And so they keep abandoning the hole and going to other parts of the island, making a show out of, what can we find on this island? And it's fucking interesting. And they bring in all these different theories and all these different cool ideas of like what it could be. And they show all these different connections of a lot of Templar connections. Like everywhere on the island, there's some kind of symbols. There's a lot of different boulders. And there's even an elaboration onto that cross that we were talking about, that cross of stones. There's actually an elaboration on that where they even connect more stones where it turns into whatever this fucking symbol is. I should be more prepared and have the symbol, but it's like it represents your chakras and whatever, and it's supposed to be some big symbol that represents something religious. I don't know, man.
Like yin and yang or something like that.
Nah, it's like a religious symbol that shows like levels of stuff. Has like all these different points, like 12 points on it.
I thought it was a cross. I don't know.
The cross is incorporated into it. So the cross that we were talking about earlier is like part of this bigger configuration now, is what they say, which is pretty cool. So I think now in this part of the season, like they found coins that were like Spanish doubloons from different points. They found these coconut fibers on the shore that are like, dude, these are definitely the coconut fibers people talked about being the filtration system for these flood tunnels, right? For these booby-trapped flood tunnels.
Yeah.
They've proven that these coconut fibers don't come from the area at all. So they were definitely brought in from somewhere else and placed there as like a functioning apparatus. And even in the show, they built a dam in the same area to start digging in these areas, and they found wooden structures in the area. So they're pretty sure they've nailed that is definitely what is on the shores.
I'm gonna share two thoughts. The first thought goes back to what I said about Shakespeare and Sir Francis Kevin Bacon. Is the thing here is that entertainment is the art of distraction.
Yes,
and that's the biggest thing. And I think whatever was here was found quietly and removed.
I think so too.
And I think this show is the art of distraction to say, hey, if we keep people here guessing in this mystery, blah, 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 that, they can end the show saying, oh, there's nothing down
Never
here.
was.
That's so crazy.
They'll find something specifically. This one piece of gold.
They'll find like one piece of historical thing that'll solidify
the actual thing.
The Knights Templar. Sure.
Yeah, they probably showed that first like video footage and they're like, fuck no, you're not showing that on TV. We're taking it.
Yeah. The biggest thing here, I think, is there's so many things, and I'm no scientist, I'm no dig expert. If the island is that small, okay? Get some wood.
Get mad.
And you build a fucking dam around and you cut off all of the water. Or you get some concrete and you just basically circle off the island. If you give that much of a shit, you spend the money, you raise the funds. If you really think something's down there, like the Ark of the Covenant, all this gold, whatever, and you think it's going to be a worthy find, you get the money, you build some cement around this island.
But what about the water table?
What do you mean the water table?
Well, that's another thing that's weird, Johnny, is that the water table wasn't naturally there until they let it in, it seems.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I didn't bring this up, but like, obviously this island, whatever elevation it's at, let's say it's 20, 30 feet above sea level. When you start, like,
32 feet apparently.
Okay, perfect. Once you dig 32 feet, you should be at sea level. The water should be concaving or like flowing into the area. So Nick, I like what you're saying, but even if you do build a barrier around it, how are you not?
You siphon out the water. You literally on the outside of your dam, you get a fucking tube, you run it into where the water is,
sucking it out,
and you suck it out and you dump it in the ocean like they do in other places. Like the technology is there. If something's really down there, and you're making a show about it, and you're losing all your footage and your X-ray visions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
you take cement, you build a dam, you block it off, you do what's supposed to be done, you siphon the water out of the rest, you dry out the island, you blow that sucker to bits, and you get down to the bottom and you figure it out.
I freaking agree. You get to the bottom of that, and you got to start. I agree, man. You got to fucking wrap that bitch, man. Build some dams.
I would agree with your first point, though, more, because I think there was something down there that was, religious or something that was such a crazy find that was like, this is proof for
it's
something.
Boxed up somewhere in an Area 51-like place. They found it. They removed it.
An Indiana Jones type place.
I think that's what we're really going for. Not a there's something still down there we should go look for. I think it's already gone. I mean, we're at the point in life where we literally like have mapped out the majority of like land and whatever, like 10% or like 1% of the ocean. But people give so much of a shit about this island. There's no way we haven't.
But if
found
you
it
give
yet.
that much of a shit, you need to use your brain and your resources and you need to cut off. If water is the problem, you need to get smart and figure out a way. Okay,
Get
well,
that
how
water
can
out
we?
of there.
Ocean's the problem.
Well,
The
yeah,
water
they've tried to
table,
do that.
you
Yeah,
can't-
the ocean's a problem. I guess it's like very hard to get down to the bottom and shut off where these like flood tunnels are.
I'm sure it is like that.
Yeah.
It's not. You're not dealing with. You're not dealing with. Concrete structures to begin with, and you're trying to make them watertight. You're talking about the crust, dirt, like core, sand that is just gonna let water in. It's like I personally think that whatever was down there is gone, and people have been using the noodles, and they're saying, yeah, it's fucking gone. We're just gonna make a show about it, and people won't even give a shit about it.
I think it's possible. I mean, since there are caverns down there, it's rock, so it's. I guess that in my mind is why the water table is not there, is because it's just hard rock, so it's.
Oh, possibly.
Yeah, I think it's still a possibility that what was there really did fall into the cavern below it. And so now it's just a little bit deeper, and it's still possible that they might find something, even on the show. I'm still holding on to that possibility.
It's got to be.
But I do think it's so logical that if someone did find it, why wouldn't they just sneak out with it? Because there are so many reports of people that have owned property on the island, during the time that, they move there, a normal guy, and they leave a very rich guy, or somewhat rich.
Oh.
So there are reports of there are probably stashes of gold in different places on the island, that multiple people probably found. And even on the show, they show you descendants of the first kid who found it. Descendants have one piece of treasure that they say he found, but that never comes up in any of the research. It's never reported that he found it then. But it's like this little cross. It looks pretty cool. Looks a lot like the Templar cross they just found, or they found in the last couple episodes.
It's crazy.
I'm ready
The
to see
whole
him
thing
find
is
something.
nuts.
I'm ready to see him. I'm ready for him to find something. Be dope as shit if it's the Ark of the Covenant and it was some kind of a battery or some kind of algae maker making algae wafers.
I think
Algae
it's great.
wafers.
I mean, we're in that place now. You dig and you find a sarcophagus like this. This is a big thing, and I didn't know that the sarcophagus news would be so related to this news, but it was.
Yeah.
And I think that the more stuff we dig up, the closer we get.
You know that Freemasons are highly, highly related to the Egyptian hieroglyphic and sarcophagi.
Sarcophagi.
I didn't, but now I know.
Now you know knowing is half the battle.
No.
Knowing is half the battle.
Oh, Lord.
What a journey.
What a journey. And you know what? It tied us back to Bohemian Grove and the Freemasons yet again.
Yeah, which is weird, just by Teddy Roosevelt being a Freemason.
This is like 4 in a row now, minus the cannibalism thing we talked about. It's still 4 in a row.
Well, we have our eye on Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande, and they're for sure knowing somebody who's in
Yeah,
Pete
they're
Davidson's bleach blonde hair is
reptilians,
the key. Dip his head down in that hole.
Hey, I have to say, our Ariana Grande Pete Davidson talk is starting to approach our Bob Chandler talk, and that's dangerous.
It's true.
Uh-oh.
It's true. It worries me.
We need to get
Let's
Pete
see what
Davidson,
Bobby
Ariana
C's
Grande,
been
and
doing.
Bob Chandler in a room together. It would be great. Anywho, if you guys have a hypothetical you want us to talk about or a thought you'd like to share about today's episode, good news, you can do that. And we'll literally cover it like we just did. We did a whole episode that was submitted to us. That's also happened to be near and dear to Taylor's heart. He has one heart. So shoot us an email at
I wouldn't be surprised if he has more than one heart, actually.
He probably has 4 hearts.
I may have 7 hearts and 1 tentacle peni.
Yeah, he's got that BDE, though. So shoot us an email at hybrothoughts@gmail.com. Who knows? Maybe your hypothetical will be featured on next week's episode, similar to this one. Also, make sure to head over to the Facebooks and give us a like at facebook.com/hybrothetical thinking for more content throughout the week. Guys, we put up a t-shirt design. You can check that out. Show some love for that. We're going to have that available in Orlando when we are there. Also, make sure to go on iTunes or Stitcher and leave us a 5-star review.
How many stars?
5.
5 stars.
1, 2, 3, 5.
5 stars, please.
It's 5 stars. If you don't want to leave a 5-star review, just
don't leave a review.
Just pretend you didn't listen to the episode and
Send me an angry threat instead of not leaving a 5-star review.
just tell us in an email.
Just tell us.
Tell us in an email, hybrothoughts@gmail.com, why you didn't like the podcast. instead of leaving a negative review.
Unless it's like Johnny, take him out. Then don't leave that review.
I mean, we'll get rid of Johnny if that's the case.
Yeah,
Kill
they
him.
tried to last week.
We did. It's true. Also, check out hybrotheticalthinking.com. It's up and running. You guys can subscribe to our mailing list there. We'll send out some cool things. We'll send you some articles. We'll send you some exclusive Hybro stuff through there. Also, make sure on our Facebook to go on. You can vote for us for, I don't even fucking know what I signed us up for, but you can vote for us for Best
Somewhere,
Podcast
yeah.
somewhere. It's on our Facebook. Check it out. Check it
Best
out.
podcast of all time. Make sure you enter that into the optional block as well.
Yeah,
If
the
that's
optional
possible.
best podcast of all time. Other than that,
Yeah.
guys, we'll see you next week. Or
You'll hear us next week.
You'll hear us next week, and then while we record, we'll pretend we're seeing you.
One day they will see us.
One day you're gonna see us.
You will see our true form.
You're gonna feel us. And
We'll
you-
do a live stream sometime
Oh.
when we're all together in a room. It's right now. It's just me and Johnny and Taylor. So far
Multiple
away.
people have actually. This is a fact. Multiple people have contacted me and said, "Wait, you guys keep talking that Taylor is not in the room with you. Where is he?" I'm like, "Oh, he's in Atlanta."
He's in
He's
space.
on a whole
and they're
other
like,
planet,
yeah,
y'all.
he's in space, and they don't. It's like it's crazy. Like the conversation, like the amount of flow we have. It's like it's almost like not recognizable that he's not in the room with us.
It's almost
Exactly.
as if he's artificial.
Taylor, please tell me you're real.
He is. So I'm gonna leave you guys with this, and then we're gonna head out. This is a big deal to me, and I want to save it right till the end. This was on a public domain I found recently, and someone debunked the Olaus Magnus sea serpent.
What?
It's the Olaus Magnus sea serpent is a myth, sort of like the Loch Ness monster. He lives in the sea. Guys, this has been debunked. Anyone who thought they saw the Olaus Magnus sea serpent,
Olaus?
you just saw a whale penis.
A severed whale penis?
No, just a whale upside down with his penis out.
Ha!
It's just sunbathing.
So with that being said, guys, I've been your host, Nick Floyd.
Hey, I'm Taylor Nelson, y'all.
I am Jonathan Clark.
So keep a lookout if you see any whale peni. It was just that and not anything crazy, conspiratorial.
It's pretty crazy.
Maybe.